It was the year 2478, and humanity had long since established a presence among the stars. But for Alia, a young woman of 25 years, the vastness of space was all she had ever known. Born and raised aboard a massive generational starship, she had spent her entire life in cryogenic slumber, her dreams filled with memories of a world she had never seen. Until now. Alia's eyes snapped open, the familiar hum of the ship's engines jolting her awake from her deep sleep. As she sat up in her cryopod, a sense of disorientation washed over her. Something was not right. The pod's monitors displayed a series of alarming readings, and the ship's typically bright corridors were dimly lit and eerily silent. With a growing sense of unease, Alia stepped out of the pod and made her way through the eerie stillness of the ship. The floors were littered with debris, and the air was thick with the acrid scent of burnt circuitry. Alia's heart raced as she realized that the ship must have suffered a catastrophic event, one that had left the once thriving vessel in a state of disrepair. As she moved deeper into the ship, Alia encountered the lifeless bodies of her fellow crewmates, their faces frozen in expressions of fear and desperation. The sight was haunting, and Alia felt a lump form in her throat as she struggled to comprehend the tragedy that had befallen them. Determined to uncover the truth, Alia made her way to the bridge, her footsteps echoing through the empty corridors. The bridge was in a state of complete chaos, with panels blinking and alarms blaring. Alia quickly accessed the ship's log, her fingers trembling as she scanned the entries. What she discovered sent a chill down her spine. According to the logs, the ship had been attacked by a mysterious alien force, one that had overwhelmed the crew's defenses and left the vessel adrift in the vastness of space. The last entry indicated that the remaining crew had initiated the ship's emergency cryogenic protocols, sealing the survivors in stasis pods in the hope of being rescued. But as Alia surveyed the abandoned bridge, it became clear that no rescue had ever come. The ship was now a drifting tomb, its once vibrant crew reduced to lifeless husks. Alia felt a surge of panic rise within her. She was alone, the last survivor of a catastrophe she could scarcely comprehend. With no way to contact the outside world, and no idea how long she had been in cryogenic sleep, Alia was faced with a daunting reality. She was stranded, adrift in the cold, unforgiving expanse of space. As she sank to her knees, overwhelmed by the weight of her situation, Alia's gaze fell upon a faint blinking light on the console. Mustering her courage, she approached the display, her fingers dancing across the controls as she tried to decipher its meaning. To her surprise, the light was not a malfunction, but rather a distress signal, a faint, barely detectable pulse that seemed to be emanating from a nearby planet. Alia's heart raced with a newfound sense of hope. Perhaps there were others out there, survivors from other ships, or even a thriving civilization that could help her. Without hesitation, she set course for the distant planet, determined to uncover the truth and find a way to escape the doomed vessel that had become her tomb. As the ship's engines roared to life, Alia knew that she was embarking on a journey into the unknown, one that would test the limits of her resilience and courage. But with the distant distress signal as her guide, she was ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, driven by a fierce determination to survive and reclaim the life that had been stolen from her. The ship's engines roared to life as Alia set a course for the distant planet, its faint distress signal guiding her through the vast, uncharted expanse of space. With a sense of renewed purpose, she scanned the ship's systems, desperate to uncover any clues that might shed light on the fate of her crew and the mysterious alien attack. As the ship approached the planet, Alia was struck by its sheer size and the intricate web of orbiting satellites that surrounded it. Clearly, this was no uninhabited world, but rather a thriving hub of activity. Alia's heart raced with anticipation, but also a twinge of fear. What if the planet's inhabitants were the very same alien force that had decimated her ship? Cautiously, Alia maneuvered the battered vessel into a stable orbit, her fingers dancing across the controls as she attempted to establish communication. After several tense moments, a response crackled to life, a wave of static-laced voices filling the bridge. Unidentified vessel. This is Planetary Command. State your business and identify yourself. Alia took a deep breath, her voice trembling as she responded. My name is Alia. I'm the sole survivor of a crippled starship, and I've detected your distress signal. Please, I need your help. There was a brief pause, and then the voice returned, this time laced with a hint of curiosity. Understood, Alia. Stand by for landing instructions. We'll need to conduct a thorough inspection of your vessel before allowing you to disembark. As the ship descended through the planet's dense atmosphere, Alia peered out the view screen, her eyes wide with wonder. The surface below was a tapestry of towering cities, sprawling landscapes, and intricate technological marvels, a civilization unlike anything she had ever seen. When the ship finally touched down on a massive landing platform, Alia was greeted by a contingent of armed alien figures, their features obscured by sleek, metallic suits of armor. Alia tensed, her hand instinctively reaching for the small blaster holstered at her side, but the aliens made no hostile moves, instead gesturing for her to follow them. Alia stepped out of the ship, her gaze darting around as she took in the sights and sounds of the alien world. The air was thick with the hum of machinery and the murmur of unfamiliar voices, and Alia couldn't help but feel a sense of awe and trepidation. As she was led through the bustling complex, Alia couldn't help but wonder what awaited her. Would these aliens be friends or foes? And what could they possibly know about the mysterious attack that had claimed the lives of her crew? One thing was certain. Alia's journey had only just begun, and she knew that the path ahead would be fraught with challenges and unexpected revelations. But with a newfound determination burning in her heart, she was ready to face whatever lay in store, driven by a need to uncover the truth and find a way to reclaim the life that had been stolen from her. As Alia followed the armored alien figures through the bustling complex, she couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and trepidation. The vast, futuristic structures that surrounded her were unlike anything she had ever seen, and the hum of advanced technology was a constant presence in the air. Eventually, the group came to a towering building, its sleek, curved lines and shimmering facade a clear testament to the aliens' architectural prowess. Alia was ushered inside, her footsteps echoing on the gleaming floors as she was led to a spacious chamber where a group of alien figures stood waiting. These aliens were unlike the armored guards who had escorted her, their features more humanoid, and their expressions betraying a curious, almost cautious, interest. Alia took a deep breath, steeling herself for the encounter. "Welcome, Alia," one of the aliens spoke, its voice low and resonant. "I am Sci-Fi, a member of the Galactic Council. We have been monitoring your distress signal and your approach to our world. Please, tell us, what has brought you to our doorstep?" Alia hesitated for a moment, unsure of how much to reveal. But the weight of her experiences, the loss of her crew, and the desperate need to uncover the truth compelled her to speak. "My ship was attacked," she began, her voice wavering. "We were adrift in space, our systems crippled. I was the only one to survive the attack, the only one to awaken from cryogenic sleep. I don't know what happened or who was responsible, but I knew I had to find help." Silara nodded, its expression somber. "We have long suspected that a powerful hostile force has been lurking in the shadows of the galaxy, but we have been unable to pinpoint its origins or its intentions. Your arrival, and the tragic fate of your crew, only serves to confirm our worst fears." Alia felt a spark of hope ignite within her. "Then you know something about the attack. Can you help me find out what happened and how to prevent it from happening again?" Silara raised a hand, its gaze thoughtful. "The answers you seek are not easily come by, Alia. The forces we face are ancient, and their motivations are shrouded in mystery. But we will do what we can to assist you and to uncover the truth." With a gesture, Silara motioned for Alia to follow, and the two set off down a winding corridor, their footsteps echoing in the cavernous space. Alia couldn't help but feel a sense of unease, her mind racing with questions and fears. As they walked, Alia couldn't help but notice the hushed conversations and furtive glances that followed them. It was clear that her presence had caused a stir among the aliens, and she couldn't help but wonder what secrets they might be hiding. But Alia was determined to find the answers she needed, no matter the cost. With a newfound sense of purpose, she followed Xylara, her gaze fixed on the path ahead, ready to face whatever challenges lay in store. As Alia followed Xylara through the winding corridors of the towering structure, her mind raced with a myriad of questions. What secrets did these aliens hold? And how could they possibly help her uncover the truth about the devastating attack on her ship? Xylara led Alia to a massive chamber, its walls adorned with intricate displays and holographic projections. Alia's eyes widened as she took in the sheer scale and complexity of the technology surrounding her. "Welcome to the Hall of Records," Xylara announced, its voice tinged with a sense of reverence. "Here, we safeguard the knowledge and history of our civilization, and perhaps the answers you seek." Alia felt a surge of hope, but also a twinge of apprehension. If you have the answers, then why haven't you stopped this ancient force you spoke of? Xylara's expression darkened. "The knowledge we possess is not without its dangers. For millennia, we have guarded it, fearing the consequences of its misuse. But now, it seems we have no choice but to confront the threat head-on." The alien gestured towards a towering holographic display, its flickering images depicting a series of ancient, seemingly forgotten, technological wonders. "These are the relics of the progenitors, artifacts of a civilization that predates our own by countless suns. They possess power beyond our comprehension, power that could be the key to defeating the coming darkness." Alia's breath caught in her throat as she stared at the mesmerizing display. "The progenitors? You mean there were advanced civilizations before yours?" Xylara nodded solemnly. "Indeed. And the relics they left behind may hold the answers we need to understand the true nature of the threat we face." Without a moment's hesitation, Alia stepped forward, her gaze fixed on the holographic images. "Then what are we waiting for? How do we unlock the secrets of these relics?" Xylara regarded her with a curious expression. "Your determination is admirable, Alia, but the relics are not to be trifled with. Their power is as alluring as it is perilous. We must proceed with the utmost caution." The alien paused, its eyes narrowing. "However, given the dire circumstances and your connection to the recent attack, we may have no choice but to take that risk. Come, let us begin our investigation. The fate of the galaxy may very well hang in the balance." With those words, Xylara turned and led Alia deeper into the Hall of Records, the young woman's heart pounding with a mixture of fear and determination. The answers she sought were within reach, but the price of unlocking them could be higher than she ever imagined. As Alia and Xylara delved deeper into the secrets of the progenitors' relics, the young woman couldn't help but feel a growing sense of unease. The power contained within these ancient artifacts was truly staggering, and the implications of harnessing such technology were both tantalizing and terrifying. Xylara, sensing Alia's apprehension, placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "I understand your trepidation, child. These relics are not to be taken lightly. The knowledge they hold could reshape the very fabric of the galaxy, for good or ill." Alia nodded, her gaze fixed on the mesmerizing holographic displays that surrounded them. "Then why did your people not use this power to stop the threat you spoke of? Surely, with such advanced technology, you could have intervened." The alien's expression darkened. "We have long debated the ethics of wielding such power. The relics were not meant for us. They were the legacy of a civilization far more advanced than our own. To tamper with them recklessly could have catastrophic consequences." Alia's brow furrowed in frustration. "But now you have no choice, do you? This ancient force is on the move, and you need to find a way to stop it." Xylara nodded solemnly. "Indeed, the time for caution has passed. We must act, and act quickly, if we are to have any hope of protecting the galaxy from the looming darkness. Without another word, the alien turned and hurried deeper into the Hall of Records, Aelia hot on their heels. Passing through a series of restricted access points, they finally arrived at a heavily guarded chamber, its walls lined with gleaming otherworldly artifacts. Solara paused, their gaze sweeping over the collection. These are the most powerful of the progenitor's relics, the ones we have kept hidden, fearing their misuse. But now we have no choice but to unleash their might. Aelia's eyes widened as she took in the sheer scale and complexity of the artifacts. How can we be sure that using these relics won't do more harm than good? Solara's expression was grave. We cannot. But the alternative is unacceptable. The forces we face are beyond our comprehension, and they threaten to tear the galaxy apart. We must take this risk, for the sake of all who call this cosmos home. With a heavy heart, the alien began to activate the relics, their ancient mechanisms whirring to life. Aelia watched, transfixed, as the chamber was bathed in a dazzling display of light and energy. Suddenly, a deafening alarm blared, and the walls of the chamber began to tremble. Solara's eyes widened in alarm. They found us. The enemy is upon us. In that moment, Aelia knew that the galaxy was on the brink of an all-out war, and the fate of countless lives hung in the balance. As the sounds of battle echoed in the distance, she steeled her resolve, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the alarm blared and the walls of the chamber trembled, Aelia could feel the tension in the air. Solara's face was etched with a mixture of fear and determination, their hands moving swiftly across the holographic controls. "We must secure the relics and evacuate immediately," the alien said, their voice taut with urgency. "The enemy has discovered our location and is closing in." Aelia followed Solara as they led her through a series of winding corridors, the sounds of battle growing louder with each step. Explosions rocked the building, and Aelia could see the flashes of energy weapons through the windows. "Who is this enemy you speak of?" she asked, her heart pounding in her chest. Solara's lips tightened into a grim line. "The Dominion, a ruthless, expansionist force that has been ravaging the galaxy for centuries. They seek to control the power of the progenitor's relics, and they will stop at nothing to obtain them." Aelia felt a chill run down her spine. "Then why didn't you prepare for their attack? Surely you knew they would come." Solara's expression darkened. "We did not anticipate their swiftness, nor the scale of their assault. They have caught us off guard, and now the fate of the galaxy hangs in the balance." As they rounded a corner, Aelia's eyes widened in horror. The corridor was strewn with the lifeless bodies of Solara's fellow aliens, their sleek armor rent and scorched by blaster fire. Solara's steps faltered, their gaze fixed on the grim scene. "No, this cannot be." Suddenly, a voice echoed through the hallway, dripping with malice. Well, if it isn't the great Solara, guardian of the progenitor's relics." Aelia and Solara whirled around to see a tall, imposing figure emerge from the shadows, flanked by a cadre of heavily armored soldiers. "Zyroth." Solara spat, their voice laced with venom. "I should have known you were behind this betrayal." The alien, Zyroth, let out a cold, mirthless laugh. "Betrayal? My dear Solara, I merely seek to claim what is rightfully ours. The Dominion will rule the galaxy, with or without your consent." Aelia's heart raced as she watched the confrontation unfold. She knew that she was caught in the midst of a conflict that was far larger than herself, one that threatened to consume the entire galaxy. Solara's hands clenched into fists, their eyes blazing with fury. "You will never possess the relics, Zyroth. I will die before I let you unleash their power upon the innocent." Zyroth's lips curled into a cruel smile. "Then die you shall." In a flash, the Dominion soldiers raised their weapons, and the corridor erupted into a barrage of blaster fire. Aelia watched in horror as Solara crumpled to the ground, their life ebbing away. As the smoke cleared, Xyroth turned his gaze towards Aelia, his eyes gleaming with a predatory hunger. "And you, my dear, will serve a far more interesting purpose." Aelia's blood ran cold, her mind racing with a desperate need to escape. But as she stared into Xyroth's malevolent eyes, she knew that she had been drawn into a conflict that would test the limits of her courage and determination. Aelia's heart pounded in her chest as she stared into the cold, calculating eyes of Xyroth, the ruthless Dominion commander. She knew that she was trapped, caught in the midst of a galactic conflict that threatened to tear the universe apart. But Aelia was not one to give in to despair. Summoning every ounce of her courage, she met Xyroth's gaze defiantly. "You won't get away with this," she spat, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and defiance. "The Galactic Council will stop you and your dominion." Xyroth let out a cold, mirthless laugh. "The Galactic Council? Foolish child, they are powerless to stop us. We have been planning this for centuries, and now the progenitor's relics will be ours." Aelia's mind raced as she tried to find a way out of this impossible situation. She knew that the relics were powerful beyond imagination, and if the Dominion were to harness that power, the consequences would be catastrophic. Suddenly, a thought occurred to her. If the relics are so powerful, why haven't you used them already? Surely you could have crushed the Galactic Council with their might. Xyroth's expression darkened. The relics are not without their risks. Their power is as intoxicating as it is unpredictable. We must unlock their secrets carefully, lest they destroy us all. Aelia saw an opportunity. "Then perhaps we can make a deal. I can help you unlock the relic's power, but only if you spare the Galactic Council and the innocent lives they protect." Xyroth's eyes narrowed as he considered her proposal. "You drive a hard bargain, child. But very well, I'll grant you this one chance. If you can deliver the relics to me, I'll spare the Galactic Council. For now." Aelia knew that she was taking a tremendous risk, but she also knew that she had no choice. The fate of the galaxy rested on her shoulders, and she would do whatever it took to stop the Dominion's ruthless ambitions. With a nod, she followed Xyroth towards the chamber where the progenitor's relics were housed, her mind racing with a desperate plan. As they approached the door, Aelia felt a surge of adrenaline. This was her moment, her chance to turn the tide of the battle. When the door slid open, Aelia's eyes widened in shock. The chamber was empty, the relics gone. Xyroth let out a roar of rage, his fists clenching in fury. "What is the meaning of this?" he snarled, turning his fury on Aelia. But Aelia merely smiled, her gaze fixed on the distant horizon. "It seems the Galactic Council was one step ahead of you, Xyroth. They've hidden the relics, and now the fate of the galaxy rests in their hands." Xyroth let out a string of curses, his anger boiling over. "You'll pay for this treachery, girl." But Aelia was already running, her footsteps echoing through the empty corridors as she fled the Dominion's wrath. She knew that the final showdown was coming, and she was determined to be there to witness it. As Aelia fled the Dominion's stronghold, her heart pounded with a mixture of fear and determination. She knew that the final showdown was inevitable, and she had to find a way to stop Xyroth and his ruthless forces before they could unleash the power of the progenitor's relics upon the galaxy. Aelia's mind raced as she made her way through the winding corridors, her footsteps echoing in the empty halls. She had to warn the Galactic Council to help them prepare for the coming onslaught. But first, she needed to find a way to escape the Dominion's clutches. As she rounded a corner, Aelia stumbled upon an unexpected sight. A sleek, heavily armed starship, its engines humming with power. Without hesitation, she sprinted towards the vessel, her fingers dancing across the controls as she powered up the engines. The ship roared to life, and Aelia felt a surge of hope. She was finally on her way to the Galactic Council to warn them of the Dominion's impending attack. But as she guided the ship through the planet's atmosphere, she couldn't shake the nagging sense of unease. What if she was too late? What if the Dominion had already launched their assault, and the Galactic Council was powerless to stop them? Aelia pushed those thoughts aside, focusing instead on the task at hand. She had to reach the Galactic Council, no matter what. The fate of the galaxy depended on it. As the ship soared through the vast expanse of space, Alia's mind was consumed by the memory of Zilara's sacrifice. The alien had given their life to protect the relics, and Alia knew that she had to honor that sacrifice by doing everything in her power to stop the Dominion. Finally, Alia's ship emerged from hyperspace, the familiar sight of the Galactic Council's headquarters coming into view. She wasted no time, hailing the Council and urgently relaying the information she had gathered. To Alia's relief, the Galactic Council was already mobilizing its forces, having anticipated the Dominion's attack. They had secured the progenitor's relics and were preparing to confront the enemy head-on. Alia joined the Galactic Council's forces, her skills as a pilot and her knowledge of the relics proving invaluable in the ensuing battle. The fight was fierce and relentless, with both sides unleashing the full might of their technological might. But as the battle raged on, Alia realized that the tide was turning. The Dominion, for all their power and ambition, had underestimated the resolve of the Galactic Council and the strength of the progenitor's relics. In a decisive moment, Alia piloted her ship directly into the heart of the Dominion's flagship, unleashing the full power of the relics she had learned to harness. The resulting explosion rocked the very fabric of the galaxy, and when the dust settled, the Dominion's forces were in disarray. Zyroth, the ruthless commander, lay defeated, his ambitions of galactic domination shattered. The Galactic Council had prevailed, and in the aftermath, they turned their attention to the task of rebuilding and reshaping the galaxy. Alia, once a lone survivor adrift in the vastness of space, had become a pivotal figure in the rebirth of humanity's place in the cosmos. Her journey had been one of self-discovery and the unlocking of ancient secrets, and now she stood alongside the Galactic Council, ready to usher in a new era of cooperation, understanding, and the fulfillment of humanity's boundless potential.